National Obesity Week this week.
Okay.
But I wanted to find out what your philosophy is.
Philosophy on obesity?
Well, what boot camp is. What is boot camp all about?
Boot camp has two purposes. One is for fitness and the other one is for people that want to lose weight. So we have the boot camp fat loss mission, and then we have the boot camp, what we call the original boot camps, that people that just want to come and exercise and have got their eating under control and their diets under control.
And what about people that maybe are obese or overweight and they'll come along to the class but maybe it's too hard for them?
Well, basically at boot camp what we do is we get you to just work at your own level. We're there to push you to your limits and get you to get a little bit more out of your workout, but at the end of the day everyone will work at their own level. So if you can't run, then you'll walk. If there's always alternatives for the exercises. If there's something too hard for you, we can give you something else to do instead.
And what kind of exercise would you recommend for somebody who is obese or morbidly obese?
It really depends on what your actual fitness level is, because people can be actually obese and still be quite active. It depends on obviously your joints, and if you've got a medical problem. You've got your two main things that you need to do is some sort of aerobic exercise, running, walking, jogging, swimming, cycling, anything that's going to continue to keep your heart rate up. And then you have your strength work, which is crucial to your exercise as well. So things like your press-ups, your sit-ups, your squats, your lunges, all the things that we love at boot camp. Okay, so you need to make sure you get those things in there as well. So your two main sides is your aerobic work and your strength work. So
it's kind of two camps of people.
Yeah.
The people who have trouble with food, what do you offer them other than the exercise regime?
Well, that's the fat loss mission. For them, what we do is we also look on the eating side, your nutrition, and you know how you eat, what you eat, when you eat, and we give them a plan to follow, and that's the key to them losing their weight.
How is that different to following any other kind of diet?
What we promote is, rather than a diet, is more of a lifestyle change. The habits that we try and instill are habits that you can carry on for the rest of your life, and then hopefully once you've got down to the weight that you want to be able to maintain it.
And what kind of problems do people have with food, generally speaking?
Love. Love's the main problem. They love food, eat too much of it. People eat too much. People like convenience, obviously with their busy lifestyles and stuff. What they end up doing is buying convenience food, buying ready meals, that sort of thing. People don't listen to their bodies, so when they eat, they don't actually listen to how that food has an effect on them. When you're overweight, your metabolism tends to slow down, and to fire up your metabolism, your metabolism, or your body is like a furnace or a fire. If you feed a fire with big heavy logs, it tends to smoulder and slow down, and that's what tends to happen when people have big meals. By cutting the size of your portions down and having little and often, then your body works better that way. It's like, again, having the fire and feeding smaller twigs and stuff on it, it burns more readily and burns faster, and that will help to raise your metabolism by changing your portion sizes and having little and often.
Does regular exercise, can that boost your metabolism?
Exercise definitely helps to speed up metabolism as well, yes.
Which leads to more weight loss.
Exactly.
Why do you think that we need things like National Obesity Week nowadays?
Really, before you get obese, you were overweight. And when you were overweight, you should have checked where you were then to prevent yourself from getting obese. So if we have these national awarenesses so that people actually check where they're at.
Why do you think people nowadays have such a problem with food?
Well, there's 101 reasons for that. One is marketing, supermarkets. There's just so much food out there these days. We have so much excess of food that people want to try everything, and people get a sweet tooth, and the things that they put in foods are addictive, and then sugar being one of the main things.
So your diet plan, for example, you wouldn't have sugar in it?
No. Sugar, as far as we're concerned, in our diet plan is the main thing that we try and keep out and keep on a low, because your body doesn't need a lot of sugar at all, and the sugar that is in the natural foods is enough. But when it comes to processed foods, the sugar content starts to rise higher and higher and higher. Because when you have extra sugar in anything, or processed sugars, it has an effect on your blood sugar level. When it has an effect on your blood sugar level, your body likes to have its blood sugar levels on a norm, on a level. So your body then produces insulin to try and get your body back into a state of normality. And in that process of producing that insulin, it never knows really how much to produce, so it normally produces a little bit more than it should. And the more insulin you have in your system, the more readily you store fat.
Do you think there's a difference between men and women nowadays and how we struggle with our weight?
I think it's as bad for both men and women.
And when you first meet people, you do an induction with them, because me and Michelle both did it, and you get people to look at the goals. What kind of goals do people have? What are the reasons for wanting to lose weight and get fit?
Well, the biggest one tends to be to look good and feel good. But you'd think it would be to be healthy and to live longer.
What about when you look at a lot of diet plans now, there's obviously a lot of diet food, low fat food, that kind of thing available. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your opinion on that?
The way we promote it is for you to eat as much natural food as possible, because you don't need your low fat, you don't need your low calorie, because if they take anything out of a food, they're going to have to replace it with something, and they normally replace it with sugar or artificial sugars or sweeteners or what have you, and that is just as bad, if not worse, for your body.
So things like butter and eggs we'd be allowed to eat?
Yeah, butter's fine, because the thing is, the more natural the food, your body actually recognises that food as nutrition. So then, for example, if you eat fat and it's a natural fat, I'm not talking about your trans fatty acids and your fat that's been changed in some way or treated in some way. When you eat those foods, your body actually recognises it as food, so then it will stop you from feeling hungry. If you're having foods which have been tampered with, have been, fat taken away from them, sugar taken away from them, then their actual structure changes and your body doesn't recognise it as actual nutrition. So then you actually end up eating more.
And what about, we're always being told to check our body mass index, and it's quite hard to calculate it, I can never do it. Is that a good thing to check the BMI?
I would actually advise you have your actual body fat measured as opposed to just your BMI. Your BMI is your height to weight ratio. Now, for example, if you've got a rugby player who's quite muscular and he had his body mass index checked, he would probably be classed as obese. Okay, and we all know that they're not. Their body fat percentages are very low. So really, to get you a true representation of where you're at, you need to have your body fat taken, and you can either have that done with calipers, or you can buy machines these days that can take your body fat. So we can go to a professional like myself, get it done.
And if we want to lose weight, give us the key ingredients for losing weight. What do we have to do?
Key ingredients. If you are actually overweight, I think the first thing is your mindset. You have to get your mindset right. You have to make a decision that you do want to look better, feel better, lose some weight, and then you have to plan. I think you have to plan for the changes that you're going to make, because if you want to lose weight, wherever you're at the moment, whatever you're doing at the moment has got you there. So you have to make a change to make a change. Okay, so you have to be prepared to make changes. I mean, I have clients occasionally that will come to me and say, well, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to give up this, don't want to give up that, don't want to do this, don't do that. So really they're setting themselves up for a fall before they even start. And you have to accept that you're going to have to make some changes, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You may have to drink less alcohol, you may have to, do a little bit of cooking every now and again, that sort of thing. And I think the other thing is, once you've set your mindset up right, then everything else will just fall into place for you. Get some professional advice.
Anything else that you'd like to add that you think is important?
I think it's important for everyone to be aware of where they're at and where they want to be, and if you set some goals for yourself, I think you stand more chance of succeeding.
Thank you very much.